In the third DLC for Mafia 3, you face off against a really crazy cult. Stories of this type have been done before, but one of Mafia 3's greatest assets, I would say, is its writing and storytelling, and the story is really well done here, along with the characters. So Lincoln's trying to protect this girl who was in a cult and now she's kind of been damaged by the cult. She kind of wants to get out of it. So you're trying to help her while the cult's still coming after you. What I particularly really enjoy about the story though is that it brings back the father character. You know, the awesome guy who kind of gives you the interview style cutscenes where he's smoking a cigarette and has probably some of the best lines in the game and some of the best delivery, I would say, for video game performance. Really awesome character. It's like they took something really simple and executed it really well, and you get more of him in the DLC. The main villain in the DLC, she's appropriately creepy, especially for being in this odd cult. Really weird. There's some really good imagery that does happen throughout the DLC too, that really sells the cult. So there are really great cutscenes that populate the narrative in the DLC, but really my only criticism with these is that the cutscenes have screen tearing in them, and this kind of permeated all three of the DLCs, with all the cutscenes having some type of screen tearing, some worse than others. But it's odd because when I played through the main game last year, there wasn't any screen tearing that happened at least during the cutscenes. I don't know why it's happening here. Nonetheless, the cutscenes are still really enjoyable. So with this DLC, there's many instances where Lincoln must investigate an area, so it's very similar to the Batman Arkham games, or any of the Telltale games. So this mechanic, I feel like, fits in real nicely with you having to try and investigate this cult, because there's this mystery element to it, where you're trying to help this girl, you're trying to find out more about the cult so you can stop them. So I feel like this appropriately fits, and Lincoln, what's neat is Lincoln's learning about the cult as the player's learning about the cult, so we're learning with him. So I like the bit of mystery here. The DLC gives players the use of throwing knives, and I love these. They're a lot of fun to use. And they give you another option for stealth, because in many instances, if you hit the guy with the throwing knife, you may insta-kill him. Most of the times I've hit someone, I insta-killed them. There was a couple times where I hit the guy, and maybe I only nicked him in the shoulder, and he took like a knife or two to go down, but it caught me off guard a little bit. But what's neat is now you can take guys out really quickly. Like before, yeah, you could use your silence weapons, etc., that kind of stuff. But if you wanted to try and take someone out close on, you would have to like quickly shoot the guy with a silenced pistol and then melee the other person. But the melee takedowns, they take a while. Here, you throw a couple throwing knives and then you can melee the other guy. I like that it just adds a little bit more variety to it. And they're super quick too, because even if you're during a firefight and some guy's coming up on you, if you have the knife equipped, you can just throw that sucker right away, and more than likely you are going to take him out in one hit. I love the throwing knives. Now with the investigating, the DLC also has some really good set-piece shootouts, which is something that the main game did a great job in. There's something a little bit different with the gameplay mechanics that they change up here in the DLC. So with this new DLC, they add a slow-mo mechanic. So you can slow down time and take enemies out as you will. You know, you can get a lot of really good headshots with this. It's a nice stylistic effect. It's very, very similar to the slow-mo effect that was used in the first DLC, that you could slow down time when driving a car so that you could dodge enemies or make those quick, really hard turns a lot easier with the slow-mo mechanics. But now it's implemented in the shooting. Now, it's not like you're going to be dodge rolling or anything like that, like with Max Payne, but I do like it and I feel like it fits. It's really nice because sometimes enemies will rush you and they'll get right up on you, and you just didn't get the right angle for a blind fire and you need to pop out of cover. Now, what's nice is you can use the slow-mo mechanic and you can take the guys out and you can kind of get a moment of reprieve. What I also like too is it doesn't seem to be too overpowered. So the only way you can use slow-mo is if you have a full bar of slow-mo. So if you just want to use it for a little bit, you know, get a quick sniper headshot, be able to hit that guy before he goes into cover, that's fine. But you can't immediately use it again, even if you have more of that bar full. So you have most of it full because you just used a little bit. You can't use it until it hits the full bar, and it takes a bit to recharge. So you can't just keep spamming the slow-mo. And enemies will hit you with grenades and they'll charge you, so you do have to kind of keep moving around the environment a little bit. And lastly, with the slow-mo mechanic, you have these new enemy types in the DLC that will start attacking you with melee weapons. They won't hit you with guns. They'll start rushing up on you, and then they'll just start stabbing you with knives. So you have to watch out for them. What's nice is because, if you get caught off guard, they hit you from behind, you can slow-mo, and then you can use the shotgun and take them out real quickly. So it does come in handy for that. You will also visit some really cool areas in the DLC. There's a nightclub that has the appropriate lighting and atmospheric for something that, well, you're going to be going into a cult and you're going to be looking around. So I feel like the music's appropriate and how the lighting and setting is done is very appropriate. Along with that, this nightclub has some of the funniest NPC dancing going on in a game since like Mass Effect 2 with Commander Shepard. Like it's funny as hell. And I wish you could dance with them. Like, I think that would have been great if Lincoln could kind of just go up there and just start dancing with everybody. Now, there is a great set piece that happens at an opera house. It also provides a great venue for some awesome grenade throwing. You take out plenty of people with the grenades, so make sure you stock up on those before you go there. The final bit of the DLC does take place on an island, and this is really cool because it has a nice combo of stealth and shooting to it. Just like in the main game. That's where the gameplay really does do a great job, is with the light stealth mechanics and the shooting gameplay. And what's neat is you're basically fighting through Arkham Asylum. You're shooting, you're stealthing your way through, trying to stop the bad guy. And I love this environment. It's appropriately creepy, just like the rest of the DLC, and really good too. So I also noticed towards the end of the game, in the last area, there'd be a lot of screen tearing that's going on while I'm walking through and fighting through the environments. It's annoying, but I won't say it just totally kills your experience, but you will notice it, because it screen tears pretty hard. It's not just a little bit, it's a lot of it. I will also say too, I understand that the lighting for many of the areas, because you're going after this cult, needs to be appropriately dark and a bit scary because of the tone of the DLC. At the same time, I felt like I needed to jack up the brightness a lot, because in many areas I just couldn't see. And it was a little frustrating because I'm like, where do I go? Turn on a flashlight, like pay your electric bill, something. Or I just suck at navigating the environment and I didn't find the light switch. I will throw that in too. I ain't perfect as a game player. So this arc, it is really good. It's probably about as long as the last two DLCs, so probably about 2 hours tops to get through the main area. Now, after you finish this main arc, you have an opportunity to then renovate Sammy's bar that got destroyed in the beginning of Mafia 1 or Mafia 3. So this is neat because you have to use your money and you kind of renovate the place, and it's cool because you can kind of see the renovations that happen in it. But I wish there was a bit more there. I wish they had like some really good cutscenes or something that happened. There's a few, but not any of the high production ones that you see in the main arc for this DLC and in the main game for Mafia 3. So I wish there was a little bit more there too. Also with that, it requires a lot of money to be able to finish this part out for the renovations. So what I ended up doing is I ended up leaving the game on, cashing in all the stuff for my businesses, getting more cash while I'm at work, come home, turn the PS4 on, and then I would repeat the process for a couple days until I had enough money. Now what's neat is as you upgrade different areas of the bar, you do get to do some of these missions to basically get these assets to help out the bar and make it a more appetizing place for people to go to. They're short, they're fun, they're not anything extravagant, but I do think it would have been better if they ended on an emotional high. I feel like it could have been a bit more emotional at the end of this DLC. But I will say, just like the last two, if you enjoy Mafia 3's gameplay and you enjoy the narrative, then this is definitely worth it. I've played all three and I've enjoyed all three. I will say that the second one is probably my favorite, just because I really love the character Donovan and it deals with him throughout the whole time. Kind of a nice buddy cop relationship. But either way, if you enjoy really good story and you want more of Mafia, then I'd say definitely check them out. And let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the main game, enjoyed this DLC, or any of the DLCs, or if you didn't like them, and tell me why. Let's have a conversation. So I want to say thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and if you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.